Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a special video because I have a guest today and a couple of guests, and we're going to talk about all the changes that have been happening in the city of Watonga. Now, many of you have seen the video of the young man who was walking with his son and was arrested by Officer Monty Goodwin because he didn't immediately drop everything and provide his ID upon request.
Can't run. I don't have. This is a state where I don't have to show my ID.
Turn around.
You're gonna do this in front of my son?
Yeah, turn around.
You need to, here. Let me videotape this real quick. I want this on video. What do you? I promise you, you're gonna pay for this.
You think?
Yeah, I promise you that. My phone right there too. You're a punk ass bitch. You know that?
A short time after I posted that video, I was contacted by a woman who had a troubling encounter with the same officer. The police were called to help de-escalate a situation, and as a result, Monty Goodwin punched the boy in the face 3 times. The full video is very hard to watch, but I will have it available in the description, but here's a clip.
Let me show you how this is going to go. We're going to flip him on his face. Box this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right, so now I have our guest here. This is Andrea, and she's Santiago's mom. And then we also have another guest here, and this is Citizen Space Case. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. I should have changed that. My name is Marcus Ray, but I've been called a space case and told that nobody listens to me. So that's great because I don't know why they're still worried about what I'm trying to find out. Thank you.
All right. Well, you want us to call you Marcus then, or should we call you Space Case?
Do I need to change it?
No, you don't have to change it.
You don't have to call me Citizen Space Case.
Okay, so I guess we'll just start with you, Andrea. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what led up to this this call to 911?
Okay, I am a 46-year-old single mom, and I have had some issues with my spinal cord and my spinal column. Something that was a result of what happened a year ago in July. And I had to have spinal surgery at the beginning of this year to correct what had happened. And so in that healing process, my son Santiago had witnessed me going through everything, and he was having issues. We were having issues with his medication regimen at that time. And we were working with the local mental health here, trying to get his meds regulated during that time as well. And so on June the 2nd, I had been up for about 3 days at that point because Santiago was not allowing me to sleep at all. And mind you, this is less than a month after major spinal surgery. Santiago had been up for about 24 hours at that time. And I was trying to explain to him how important it is to be able to sleep, to be able to heal for me, and for him to be able to have as regular of a thought process as he can with sleep. He's not able to think correctly about things anyway because he is autistic. His way of thinking is different than mine. I am not neurodivergent, and therefore I don't understand clearly how he thinks, but I'm trying to learn. So not only was his medication off and I was recovering from spinal surgery, but we're also dealing with raging 15-year-old hormones on top of everything else, which made his medication and then the sleep deprivation kind of set a spiral into that morning. He was very argumentative, and he got to the point where I knew that I was not going to be able to restrain him physically. And his therapist and my therapist have told me for the past year, when it gets to that point, call the police. They are trained, especially since January of this year, 2024. They are trained specifically to come in and help you de-escalate the situation. So as I had a handful of times prior to this incident, I called 911. He did have a knife during that 911 call and was threatening to stab. He did drop the knife in the sink prior to 911, the police getting here. I did tell the 911 operator that he was autistic. And I did let her know when he dropped the knife and went into his bedroom. So they knew that he was not armed when they got here. I was an emotional wreck that day. Sleep deprivation, going through the surgery, dealing with multiple instances with my son over the past year, about 14 months. It had been extremely hard on me emotionally and psychologically. And for almost a full 12 months, I was in what my therapist calls a trauma response. And that is why I reacted the way that I did. That morning was terrible. It was literally the worst. Sorry, Santiago is sitting in here with his headphones on watching YouTube video. So if you hear him cackling, that's what's going on. He can't hear us. He's not paying attention to us. But
Okay.
that morning was the worst situation that we had dealt with so far.
And that's the thing too. It's like when you have these types of situations, that's what 911, that's what they're for. They're to help.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd automatically think, I think most people just automatically think that when you can't handle a situation like that on your own, you know, you default to calling 911
Right.
and you expect them to help you.
And the thing is, the mental health, it's a very small area, Watonga is, even including the rural area surrounding Watonga. And so pretty much everybody knows everybody here. So my therapist at the time knew Chief Massey personally. And months ago, we had a meeting at Red Rock, which is the mental health provider here. And Chief Massey was told, like, we were there for an hour and 15 minutes, told directly, you know, about Santiago and his issues, and the fact that a lot of children with autism, you know, react with aggression, and you know, just let her know that she could inform all of her law enforcement officers if they did come to respond to my home that they're dealing with a child that is autistic.
Okay. So
So
now
everybody on the Watonga Police Department was aware of Santiago and the fact that he's autistic. Everybody.
okay. Good. So now, was Santiago charged with a crime at all related to this?
No. In fact, Monty Goodwin put on his report that he had something about assault, but no charges were ever pressed. I have talked to OJA and the ADA.
And what is OJA?
It's like I don't know.
Oklahoma Juvenile Authority.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. And they said no, that there's no charges being pressed against him. We do have they gave us like a link to a group over in Weatherford that does come into the home to do in-home family counseling. And so that lady contacted me, and they were contacted by OJA, but he is not on probation. He does not have any charges pending. There's no charges filed against him at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So I see, so we all see the video and we see what kind of leads up to it, right? And you understand, you know, they're having their time and they kind of separate you, which is very typical for the police to do. They usually would like separate you. So I'm sure you didn't really grasp exactly what happened. Did you talk to Santiago and did he sort of tell you what happened? Like, did he say, hey, you know, he fucking punched me in the face?
Right.
Or anything?
Well, no. Even though Monty told me, like, it didn't register. Even though I responded to him, it didn't register. There was one instance in the video where he's talking to me and he uses a slapping motion with his hand. He also later said something about slapping. So Santiago in my head had only got slapped by Monty, even though he uses the word punch. Like, and I've talked to my therapist about this. So like it's common for people that are in trauma response to not articulate everything like the way that somebody that's not in trauma response would. So after June the 2nd, he was admitted to the mental health hospital in Arkansas because they supposedly didn't have a bed open here. And so he is in the hospital for 8 days, and I pick him up on June the 10th. We come home. I noticed the bruise on his face right away. He would not talk about it. It wasn't until a couple days after that that he made a comment about an elbow got put into his face. And then I was like, well, what do you mean an elbow got put into your face? And he said, when they were trying to get the handcuffs on me, somebody put an elbow in my face. And so I waited for him because I can't push him to talk about things. And so I would ask him questions. And there were days that he would say, I can't. Like he'll close his eyes, shake his head, and walk out of the room. And I have to listen to those cues. As a parent of an autistic child, I have to listen when my son says no, because the last thing I want to do is push him and create another hostile environment. And that's exactly what pushing him would do, because it's really hard for him to talk about traumatic things that have happened to him. He came to me about 2.5 weeks after we got home, and he started telling me that his body was hurting. And when I asked him what did he mean, that's when he went into detail. It was then that I went up and requested the video and the police reports for the first time, because it was so long after the fact. People were telling me, why didn't you get the stuff immediately? In the video, Monty literally tells me the video is available. He literally looks at me and says, but I don't remember that. I don't remember there being a bedroom incident. I don't remember sitting on the front porch and talking to Montoya. Like there's a lot of things that happened that day that I do not remember, and was in shock when I seen it on the video. I don't remember saying what I said. I was humiliated. I felt sick to my stomach because I had said the things that I did. And I felt like I had in that moment failed as a parent. I did not know, even though I heard screams, I did not know what they were doing to my son, or I would have interfered. I would be in jail. And that's plain and simple.
So I remember I was there when you ordered the videos and we were waiting for them to come. And I know it was very intense and very kind of a stressful for you. I can only imagine. So you finally see the video, and how did, I mean, obviously I'm sure you were very upset about that. What kind of changed in you once you saw the video?
What changed in me?
As far as like wanting to like you know, have it be put out there and pursued, like what was it, what you expected?
No, it was not what I expected. I did not. My first thought was, I am so sick to my stomach. And then I was angry. And it's like going through a grief process. You have all of these different emotions that are continuous and they're stacked on each other. And then that mama bear comes out and you want to retaliate and you want to protect. And there's so many emotions involved.
Yeah.
I had to watch Monty's View. It was about 8 hours. I watched it over and over again. I was trying to desensitize myself to it. The screams made me vomit. I wanted to throw up continuously. Like I went to the bathroom and literally threw up. And the only thing that I could think is, why didn't I go in there? Yeah, I was told that I could not go in the room. I was told that I couldn't, or they would put handcuffs on me and arrest me and take me to jail for interference. I was told I could not go in there. But when I'm watching the videos, I'm thinking, why didn't I just say fuck you and go in there anyway? You know what I mean? But my mind wasn't right at the time, you know, and I think back on it, and any other time, I would have went into that room and interfered. I would have screamed, stop, whatever you're doing, quit. But I didn't react that way. And I still can't answer why I didn't.
Well, I mean, you expect, I mean, you called them for a service, and that's what I assume that you were thinking that they were doing, was helping take care of that and helping de-escalate. So, I mean, you probably didn't have a reason to think that, I would think.
Right.
You know, and plus one of their tactics is they typically like to separate the people that are involved in any kind of call,
Right.
intentionally. So, if you would have went and actively tried to go in there, they probably would have put you out. And like you said, your mind wasn't in the right spot. So, try not to like listen to these naysayers because there's so many people that have a whole bunch to say behind a keyboard and nobody walks in your shoes and knows what
Right.
you guys. They don't know your family dynamic. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know your experiences. Don't know any of
Right.
that. And
But they're real quick to judge.
absolutely,
They're real quick
absolutely.
to say what they would and would not have done, and that I'm terrible and a bad mom for calling the cops on my kid. And it's not that I called the cops on my kid. It was I called them to help me de-escalate the situation, and they completely escalated it.
Yeah.
I have to say, I say they, but it wasn't they. It wasn't both officers. Montoya, honestly, Montoya didn't do anything wrong. He literally stepped into the spot to take a position to restrain Santiago while they were standing up. And Monty does his hand like that and tells Montoya with his hand motion, which you can clearly see in the video, to move.
Yeah.
Monty knew in that moment he was going to throw my son down.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing when I saw the video. Like it came to a point where Monty, he got fed up and was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. He's like, okay, so conveniently that's when the cameras all dropped. Conveniently, that's when, he did his thing. And then he already had his sort of alibi. He's like, oh, you bit me or whatever that he said that he did. Knowing damn well that they would have charged him with a crime if he did that.
Yeah, Santiago didn't bite him.
Yeah. And you could hear Santiago crying off of camera even after the hits because he was hitting him more. I don't know if he said it was with the baton or something.
He was hitting him more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to watch. I couldn't even imagine.
Let me tell you one thing I know about Monty Goodwin.
We can't hear you very good, Marcus.
So Monty Goodwin is really good about making up stories.
We still can't hear you, Marcus.
At all? Can you hear anything?
Yeah,
I can hear you now.
Man, I was trying to get my headset going. Can you hear anything?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now. It sounds good to me anyways.
Okay, maybe it was timed out. So Monty's really good at making up stories. I've learned that, and the court documents and the court transcriptions will reflect that. But
yeah. So he had his
in my opinion. No, you don't want to hear my stories because it's probably going to have to be continued because I've got a lot of I met him in 2018, but no, it continued on, and I filed a complaint, and that's Act 1 on my YouTube playlist is when it all began.
Yeah.
And that's when the city manager told me that it would be illegal for her to watch my dash cam video because they maintain this maybe it's a prerogative would be the word to describe it, that people only file a complaint against a police officer because you're mad that you got arrested and you went to jail. So that's why you filed a complaint, but that's not true.
People are stupid. I'm just going to throw
it.
People, just make it simple.
I didn't want to say that.
A lot of people that have that mindset work in our city hall.
Not anymore. Sorry, please edit that out.
Well, and see, that's kind of the point too. Like one of the points I wanted to make is that the only way some shit really can get done is through the court of public opinion and pressure by us. Like we really, really, truly do have the power, even though at times it can feel like you're hopeless and you feel like you're doing this shit on your own and you feel like you're up against the world. But in reality, most of us, I think all of us in general, we want, to live a happy life. We want to have safety for our kids. We want to be able to make it income, have a living, things like that. I think a lot of us have a lot of the same sort of life objectives. And then when your government goes into these things where there'll come a point when they fuck with too many people and we can't take it anymore. And so we try to do something about it and apply pressure.
They done fucked with the wrong person because I'm really
that's
good
exactly right. And a lot of people are very angry right now because a lot of people are applying that pressure.
Yes, absolutely. And that's how shit gets done.
Yeah.
What is that? Oh, all the positions that are available.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And
edit that a little bit.
From what I understand, there's people looking for jobs. We get the video out there. And I think I feel like that was sort of the last nail in the coffin for Monty, because at first what happened, he got in trouble. Well, he kind of got in trouble okay, let me rephrase that. He was investigated because of what happened with Johnny and Johnny's son.
Yeah.
And then when they just said that they weren't going to press charges and he wasn't going to have any, there was going to be no discipline or anything involved in that, which is god awful. Then boom, that's when we put out the video of Santiago.
Right.
And after that, there was no choice. So there was sort of like a domino effect with that. It seems like, he was obviously fired due to pressure,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Yes, he was.
But on top of that, we've got the mayor and the vice mayor both resigning.
Yeah.
So we have new vice mayor, a new mayor in the city of
Mhm.
Watonga. So what do you think about that situation with the mayor?
Well, I will say that myself and a few other citizens had a hand in that. When you put heat on people that realize, we're not going to shut up and that we're speaking out against the corruption, they take a long glance at their history and their connections with the people that are involved. And they say, you know what? I need to fucking get out of here because shit's getting real hot around this motherfucker. And that's exactly what they did. They said, nope, I resign. I quit. And they're probably going to move far, far away because they don't want nothing to do with it. But the fucking thing, the problem is it's going to follow them. No matter if they're still in the selected spot that they were in when the stuff happened, and then they left that seat, the shit's still attached to them. So citizen or on city council, the mayor, whoever it is, just know we're coming for you, baby.
All right. So how's Santiago doing now?
He's doing really good. That boy's amazing. He has an issue trying to tell you how he feels. He cannot articulate feelings like you and I can. And sometimes he gets frustrated, but that boy is amazing. And he has an infectious laugh. And he makes my heart boom every day. And he frustrates the hell out of me all the time. And he's just a freaking 15-year-old kid that's amazing, that pisses his parents off, typical 15-year-old. He hates brushing his teeth and he loves playing the Xbox and he wants chicken nuggets all the time. And, he's a regular kid.
Right on. Seems very smart.
He's extremely smart. Yeah, he's extremely smart. He's been talking about it in therapy. We both have therapy twice a week. We both have individual therapy on Fridays, and then we have family therapy here at the house on Thursdays. So he is talking about it. He doesn't like talking about it, but he's still talking about it. And it's really hard to say how he feels about the situation because he doesn't talk about it with me. And the last time that we did talk about it, he literally told me, Mom, I don't want to tell you because he's trying to protect me. And I get that. But I wish that he would talk with me more. And I think that's just the mommy me, the mommy in me. We all want our kids to talk to us about things. Typical teenagers, they would rather run to a friend or, talk to somebody else other than their parent about things. But
absolutely, they want to protect us. And
yeah. He for a little while he didn't want to leave the house. And it that really worried me. And I would email back and forth with, our therapist, my therapist mainly.
Mhm.
I did have to withdraw him out of public school. One of the individuals that was involved that witnessed it, his name is Gary Flynn. He's a volunteer firefighter here in Watonga. And his sister, Carla, who is what is her position, Marcus? The director of something at Opportunities here.
Carla Flynn.
Yeah, I'm trying to what is her? She's something director at Opportunities here.
Is he the one that was talking shit online a lot?
Yes, he was.
Okay, I thought so because I was kind of following that and I sort of looked
Mhm.
into the background. I'm like, okay, that's who that is. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
So he
Okay.
has a ton of siblings here. Well, the last meeting that I went to, city council meeting that I went to, she decided to verbally attack me.
Really?
Right after they closed the meeting. And then outside, her and her little gang of friends, decided to verbally attack me and try to instigate a fight outside, like we were in high school. And it was me and Johnny getting into my truck to drive home, where my family is here waiting for me. And I mean, I had to tell Johnny, look, we can't do this, you know, because it did piss Johnny off as well as it pissed me off. You know, don't instigate a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's the response that they want out of me, but bitch, you don't want my hands, I promise. Please don't edit that. I'm just
I
saying,
got you.
like, you don't want that. You don't want those type of problems. And you know, if it wasn't for my son needing me on a daily basis, I'm just saying.
I feel that.
So I went up to the high school after that, after finding out and that he has family members at the high school too. If they're going to be, you know, directly trying to, you know, come at me, what type of harm is my son going to be in? And
So you took him out of school as a result of what happened?
I did. And I was literally signing papers to withdraw him from the school. And another one of Gary Flynn's sisters walks into the high school office and said, "What's wrong? Are you moving?" And I said, "Oh no." I said, "Lady, Watonga ain't seen the last of me yet." No.
Wow.
So, you know, it's they think that intimidation is going to work, but I do not intimidate easily. I am not the same person that everybody sees in that video, and I'm not a little bitch, you know, and I'm a damn good mom. Okay. The three things that I have to say is, if you're judging me, fuck you. You don't know the shoes that I walk in on a daily basis, and put my son first in every fucking case that comes.
Right.
And if you want to judge me and threaten me, just know I'm not going nowhere. I'll see you in court. And three, why don't you try walking in my shoes for a moment? Because you have no idea. You have no clue. Unless you have lived this life, you do not understand. Plain and simple.
And that's just it too. It's really, really hard to sort of block that. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy to take that shit personally, especially when it comes to like interactions and dealings with your children.
Yeah.
You know, so it's got to be a really tough thing to deal with. So do you have an attorney right now? Or are you planning on suing?
Yeah, I do have an attorney.
Okay, good.
Well, Santiago has an attorney.
Right on.
Small in law out of Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
And now what kind of changes would you like to see happening in Watonga? Like what is justice for you? I mean, what does it look like for you?
The entire PD needs to be dismantled. There's a couple of officers I think should stay on. I think that Montoya needs to have the chance to be retrained by an officer that follows the law. He was literally on the police force for 3 weeks when they came to my house that day. And he did approach me the day after. He was in plain clothes and asked me how I was and asked me how Santiago was doing. I think that he genuinely is a good man. So I would like to see a lot of changes in the police department. I would like to see the people that are in City Hall and connected to all this corruption not only get fired and lose their positions, but lose it without pay, and have charges brought against them. Because, you know, even though it's a small town and everybody's related to everybody and everybody knows everybody and they went to high school or worked at the sheriff's department or the prison together, corruption is corruption. And you know what? If I did that shit, I'd be sitting in jail right now. Plain and simple.
I have sat in jail for being accused of that.
Right, exactly. You're not the only one. There's a gentleman in the in the jail right now that got arrested because he was speaking out.
Really?
Literally. Yes.
It doesn't surprise me somehow. I think a lot of these cops and the powers that be of people in the government, they don't know like the basic constitution, and they just kind of always, they do what they've always done, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you are having planning a peaceful protest?
Yes, it'll be the second one. We're gonna have it on the 17th. It is on a weekday at 4 p.m. in front of City Hall.
Okay.
I will ask anybody that does come and join, make sure that, and the reason that you're there is for a peaceful protest and not to antagonize or shout or yell. It will be
Or
during
attack
business
people.
hours,
Right.
you know, and it will be on live. It will be recorded live.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, so now there's a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about, and I'm going to say a couple of names, a couple of different things, and I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Okay, Officer George. Uh-oh.
Okay, continue. You may go on now.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Juicy. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay. And the reason I ask is because, like, after I posted these videos, I've been getting a lot of people that have been messaging me and sending me stuff. And there's been a lot of stuff about this officer.
Yeah.
And I don't really know a lot yet, but I've been kind of digging in and I'm waiting for records. So I just want to know if maybe you guys had experiences with him and what y'all had to say about him.
You talking about Officer George specifically or Monty specifically?
No, Officer George. We know what's up with Monty.
Yeah, well, I've got a list that it is more than a dozen on him alone, but no, I got a few on George. I haven't submitted them yet, but no.
Are these complaints that you have, or just like stories, or like, I'm sorry.
So a lot of citizens, they generally, for one, filing a complaint does no good. For two, when you file a complaint, you end up, what's the best way? Probably you draw heat. Does that make sense?
Yes, it draws attention to
They
yourself
get very
to
interested
retaliate
in
against
what
you,
you're.
and they're like, "Hey, there's that bitch who want to put a
Yeah,
complaint
maybe
in
on
against me."
Facebook. She made me Facebook famous is the end of the dog video. I think that was at 46 minutes. I'll have to find the notes on that. They're right here.
Officer George. So I've had I think two interactions with him, and I've had no issues.
Okay.
But I do know that other people have. And the only time that I've had interactions with him was because of my son. He has come to the house on two different occasions to help de-escalate Santiago. And a lot of other officers have come and helped de-escalate Santiago and did it appropriately. Nobody has ever had to put, and I mean ever, had to put Santiago in handcuffs. They talked to him and he walked with them to their patrol car or to my truck so that I could take him or they could escort him to the hospital to be evaluated by mental health.
Okay.
I've had no issues with any of the officers here except for Monty. The first time that Monty responded to my home, he was on the phone with Chief Beth Massey. And at that time, she was already aware of the situation with Santiago. We had already had that meeting at Red Rock. And he looked at me and said, "You just need to be a better mother." Santiago had ran away. Yeah. Yeah. And I called requesting because the school told me to call because he wasn't at school because he had ran away. There was a lot of issues going on with the school at the time. They were not
I see,
like
they're probably picking on
fluorescent
him.
lighting and like the fact that the bell sounding irritated him and triggered him. There was a lot of reasons why he didn't want to go to school because they weren't putting certain things into effect that they should have regarding his autism. So that day he ran away. He just took off out the door. And because of health issues that I was dealing with, I couldn't run after him. And so I'm on the phone with the school trying to explain to the school why Santiago is not there. And they said, "Well, if he ran away, you need to call the police." So I called Red Rock first and let them know what's going on. And I'm in
What
my
is Red
truck.
Rock?
Red Rock is the mental health facility here.
Okay. I had a feeling, but I want to clarify that.
And so I get off the phone with Red Rock and they were like, "Well, as soon as you find him, bring him up here." And I said, "Okay." So I'm driving around and I'm on the phone with police, with dispatch. And oh my God, so stupid. Sorry. Just crawling in this empty basket. It's so weird. But I'm on the phone with 911 and I'm there, talking to Monty while he's in his vehicle driving around looking for Santiago as well. And they were like, "Okay, well, just meet him back at the house." And so I met him back at the house. And Monty's first thing that he wants to tell me is, You just need to be a better parent. And I'm like, fucking excuse you? You know, and then he ran me like to see if I had warrants and pulled me up from over 20 years ago and was like, is that you? And I was like, sure was, but I'm not that person no more. Like, what is your fucking point? Where's my kid? Help me find my kid.
Right.
And so we eventually found him, but he was a complete asshole to me that very first time. And Beth knew that he was a complete asshole to me because he was on the phone with her. And I don't know why he likes to stay on the phone with her, why he goes out on calls, but
I
he
was
was on the
wondering about
phone.
that. They seem very close.
You want me
Right.
to tell you
A little too
why?
close. Yes, me.
I'll
Yes,
tell you
ma'am.
why. Because a lot of the times in these court cases that are
We're having problems hearing you, Marcus.
so a lot of the time in these court cases, the body cams never admitted into evidence.
Right.
So these little phone calls that corroborate the story, you effectually
Yeah.
create a witness.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, then maybe that's just a conspiracy of mine, but
No,
I
I think
know
there's
that
truth to that. I'm sure with personal phone calls, they don't have to necessarily, not subjected to like open records and shit like that. Usually, they
yeah, that's
communicate.
not subject to 51 if it's a personal phone.
Right. But why are you having personal phone calls with the chief of police while you're on duty
That's
and
a good
responding
question.
to a call?
So why did they call and say that I left a bag unattended at City Hall on
Right.
personal cell phones?
I remember
That
that.
led to the 27-minute engagement of, as who I called at that point, Officer Smiley. That's intimidation. That
Lacey.
was yeah,
I've
Mr.
seen a lot of
Lace.
interactions with Lacey. They seem to be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any
I
He was a
problems with
creeper.
Lacey.
start watching them and pay more attention. Watch them 3 times and explore a different depth each time, and then watch the very latest encounter. His attitude changed. He went from Officer Smiley back to Officer David Lacey because he didn't treat me like I was stupid anymore. Because I do know the law. I've studied it for the past number of years.
So I take it
And
you're a
I
lifelong
hate
resident
that.
of Watonga.
oh yeah, I've been here. I can't say 36 years, but 33 or 36. I
So
lived in
with a file
Oklahoma.
like that.
Right. And
Okay.
see, I've only lived here since July of last year, July 2023.
But you've
Okay.
seen enough, hadn't you, Andrea?
Oh my God. I've seen enough. And and a lot of people have asked me, are you staying in Watonga? And I said, absolutely, I am. And they asked me why. And the answer to that question is I was put here for a reason. There's a reason why I came to Watonga. And I thought it was for one reason. And it's not for that one reason. It's because of this right here, because I have a voice. And it was a terrible situation that led us up to this. My son absolutely did not deserve what happened to him, but it has unleashed a whole list of shit that we are uncovering, one
This
thing
is one of
after
them.
the next.
Citizen
Absolutely.
Space case. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. I really like the fact that stuff like that. See, a lot of people have had pretty bad interactions, and it sort of brings everyone together so that you
Right.
can sort of form this an alliance, I guess, or a group where you can
Yeah.
sort of, network and get ideas from each other and
Grassroots
stuff like
is the
that.
word.
Yeah,
Grassroots is
absolutely.
very
And
good
see,
word.
the thing that people really hate is, we do know what we're doing, and we're called uneducated. We're both highly educated. Okay. We're called a nuisance. Marcus has been accused of going on a witch hunt. We literally, in our group of people, we literally have 2 ex-police officers that back us 100%. And like the law is the law at the end of the day, and if people are breaking the law, we're calling them out on it.
And
You
those
know,
people
matter
happen
who
to
it
wear a
is.
badge, then
right. If
be
you
it.
are in the position to protect and serve, then why aren't you doing your fucking job? Plain and simple. There is no excuse. There's no bending the law. The law is a fucking law.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And I don't give a shit if you wear a badge or if you're just a humble citizen like myself. You have to obey the law. They're looking for a reason to arrest me. I can tell you right now, they would love nothing more than to put my ass in fucking handcuffs. Oh,
You want me to tell you
would
how you
right
get
now.
around it? I'll tell you
What's
how to
that?
get around it. Just start walking around town or have somebody drop you off and pick you up and It's worked really well for me.
Right. Yeah.
At
I was
least
thinking
the
about
past
taking a
6
walk
weeks.
at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, I was
That's
just gonna
pretty
say that.
suspicious, though. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
Yeah. And see, the
God.
thing is, like, before all this happened, nobody really knew who I was. You know, we went to appointments, we came home, we stayed in the house. I didn't go nowhere. We'd
You
go to the
didn't
grocery
want
store.
anyone to know who you were.
Right.
You
Yeah,
didn't
just mind your
ask for
business
this.
and
Exactly.
because
Mind
nobody
my
asks
business.
to be the poster child or spokesperson for or who sets off a chain of events or who
Exactly.
gets a police officer fired in a small
Until-
town.
It is not my fault that they wanted to act like they own shit around here. It is not my fault that they abuse the fact that they have a badge. Okay. And if it takes somebody like me speaking out to, you know, engage those people and do it, you know, where everybody can see, then here I am. You know what I mean? Like, I have had so many threats toward me. It's not even funny. I have people that are so comfortable with themselves that they literally tell me shit on Facebook and just leave the comment on there like it doesn't matter. I had one guy tell me just recently, you know what would be nice? It would be real nice if you packed your shit and left because you're not wanted or needed here. And
I
I'm
think
like,
the same guy messaged me too. I'm pretty sure I know who
probably,
it is too.
probably. Yeah,
He
but
said,
the
"You
thing
go on
is,
ahead and
like,
sell your mama's house." Well,
yeah,
no, I'm not going to. I'm gonna stay here.
right. You know,
Sorry to
like,
tell
I'm
you.
not going nowhere. And if I do end up moving, it's not because of this. You know, it's because we want to go to a climate that doesn't have tornadoes. So you know,
I
we're
just want to
thinking
go
it's Montana
somewhere.
or Florida, and they're vastly different. But you know,
I just want to go somewhere that there's actually some integrity within the city
yes,
governmental body.
Good
Would
luck
be
with
great.
that.
right. Yeah, it
I
would
don't
be
know how
nice.
far we're gonna have to go, but if we go down to the bayou in Louisiana,
Yeah,
Or how about that lady who's left in space? Maybe you don't have to go that far.
oh
right.
God, yeah, no, I love space travel, as you see.
Right, right.
Yeah, but as far
Effort
as wanting to
museum.
see the changes here, I would just like to see a positive environment for all citizens. I want the citizens to know that they can pop firecrackers on the 4th of July like they're supposed to and enjoy that time with their family and not be harassed because a neighbor gets pissed off and calls the police and that police officer is friends with the person who called. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of bullshit.
I'm
And
pretty sure that's the story.
people are happy with the corrupted normal. And that to me is fucking crazy. I can't wrap my mind around that because I don't think that way. Like, why in the hell would somebody be happy and okay with all the corruption that is here?
Stockholm syndrome.
Man, for
Indoctrination.
real.
During a police encounter, the situation can quickly become complex and stressful. Having an attorney to speak on your behalf is crucial for protecting your rights and ensuring fair treatment. Imagine having an attorney available to you within seconds to provide guidance during your interaction with law enforcement. They can help you avoid making statements that could be used against you and ensure that any legal proceedings are managed correctly. By having a legal expert involved, you're better equipped to navigate the system, minimize potential penalties, turning potentially challenging and oftentimes emotional situations into one where your rights are upheld. It's very easy to fumble and say the wrong thing when you're talking to the police, so having Attorney Shield is a no-brainer. But what makes Attorney Shield so special to me is that the police cannot turn off your phone without your password. In addition to that, your attorney has access to your driver's license, insurance, your location, and emergency contacts.
Hello. Welcome to the test call feature of your Attorney Shield app. This brief pre-recorded message will help confirm your device's readiness for our service. Look for a smooth playback of this video without interruptions. If the video is clear, your connection is set. You'll also notice we turned up the volume just in case it was previously at a low setting. Take a moment to try accessing your documents by tapping the icon near the end call button. This mirrors the live support call experience. To conclude the test, tap the end button, then enter your security PIN. If it slipped your mind, just tap reset PIN to create a new one, then run another test to make sure everything's in order. Remember, with Attorney Shield, your rights are our priority. Thank you, and goodbye.
We need a CID.